Moonstones, megas, matronly waifus, and full 6v6 battles. Oh my. Let's talk about the next stretch of the Pokemon anime. Hey everyone, it's Sweaty Betty. How are you today? I'm as sweaty as a slugma because Pokemon Journeys has been turning up the heat in more ways than one. And to drop the big hype bomb right out the gates, the latest issue of Japanese monthly manga magazine Terebi-kun has just confirmed that both Leon vs Diantha and Ash vs Cynthia will be full 6-on-6 battles. Good golly, Miss Molly, that is fireworks. With that said, let's cut to the main course because today's menu is sweet and simple, nothing but the latest news regarding what is coming down the pipeline in the Pokemon anime over the next couple months, so kindly subscribe for a pack of Mami Pokos, and let's bust out the juicy nuggets. Before looking forward, let's break down the episode that just aired the other day. Chloe and Eevee, The Miracle of Evolution was essentially just a recap of Chloe and Eevee's story up until now, strung together by 1. A narration from Krissa and Mimi structured like a Japanese primetime TV show, which was pretty fun, and 2. A series of emails from people who've interacted with Chloe over the course of Pokemon Journeys, read out by a radio host. It also had a quiz segment and put together a pretty holistic explanation of evolutions for viewers who may not know the ins and out of the possibilities, and on the whole it was nice to see Mimi back in action, and more Krissa is always a good thing. And the radio segment reminded me of just how wholesome many of the episodes built around Chloe and supporting characters like Ren and Krissa, not to mention Team Rocket and the radio show, have been over the course of the anime. In many respects, they are easily the strongest bits of the series IMO. We haven't seen a clip show recap like this since the Diamond and Pearl era, but the story beats of Pokemon Journeys are so bizarrely disconnected that I think this episode was absolutely necessary to weave back together the threads of Chloe's story before its finale. And that is not a compliment. But it does look like we will see the conclusion to the main thrust of Chloe's plotline just 1 week later, and that episode is shaping up to be a dandy. In Chloe and Eevee, the possibilities are endless. Professor Cerise will take Chloe and the family camping, with the intent of showing her something pink by the looks of it. In the episode preview, we also see a young boy and presumably his father bandaging up a Clefairy, as well as a group of Clefairy dancing around a stack of moonstones. Eevee are not known to respond to moonstones, so presumably Professor Cerise simply wants to expose his daughter to the beauty of the moonstone evolution phenomenon over at Mount Moon. And it's hard to say exactly what lesson Chloe will derive from this experience, but based on the preview trailer, it looks like we are in store for something very wholesome. The placement of the 2 Chloe episodes smack dab in the middle of the Masters 8 tournament is bizarre to say the least, but Chloe and Eevee, the possibilities are endless. Looks like it will capture the simple sense of wonder and mystery and magic of the Pokemon universe in a way that has been lacking over the past couple months, so that is something I'm looking forward to. At this point, it is unclear exactly what will unfold in the Climax Begins Ash's Masters tournament, but considering that it appears as if the semifinals will not be beginning until the next episode, this one is likely to be a recap or a world-building episode. I would hope to Hoppips that a potential recap would be laced together with scenes of Ash interacting with the other Masters 8 competitors at Wyndon Stadium, as while the tournament roster reads like something out of a hot and sweaty fanfiction, Ash's meaningful interactions with the cast have been lacking to say the least. It's also possible that the Leon vs Diantha battle could kick off in the middle of this episode, given that it has been confirmed to be a 6v6. Then again, it only took Leon about 10 minutes to obliterate all 3 of Elan's Pokemon in round 1's 3v3, so 6 in 20 is not at all unreasonable. Either way, episode 121 will mark a return to a Masters 8 plotline that has been hamstrung by bizarre pacing and very strangely placed broadcasting interruptions. And I am glad to see that things will be back underway. Oh, wait a second. The series will be taking a break again on August 19th, and at this point the Masters 8 stop and start slip and slide is almost comical, but I am happy to take the opportunity to do something on Friday night other than editing Pokemon videos until 3 AM, so any recommendations? Semifinals 1, overwhelming victory, clearly points to the upcoming confrontation between Leon and Diantha, because it's pretty clear that Diantha is not going to be taking an overwhelming victory over the Purple Panther, who is primed and ready for his destined confrontation with Pallet Town player number 1 in the tournament's finals. That said, even if it is game, set, and match before the battle even begins, I hope that Diantha is given the luxury of a dignified defeat, rather than simply being brought out for a humiliating pie to the face. As I don't think anyone wants to see the second coming of Leon versus Elan, a crushing blowout that made sense thematically, but at the same time left us with a fairly flat and uninteresting battle that desecrated a popular legacy character because Because why not? Spectres of the past aside, rest assured that Diantha will be bringing her Mega Gardevoir to bat, which is par for the course, but more interesting is that based on Japanese merchandise drops, many fans now suspect that Leon may set aside his Dynamax band to instead drop a bombshell on the Pokemon community by Mega evolving his Charizard into Mega Charizard Y. Wowzers. Mega Y would be a brilliant touch as it would make Leon less of a one-dimensional Gigantamax showboat, not to mention that crushing Diantha with the battle gimmick of her home region would be both respectable and savage. Next up, we have the second semifinals episode, Semifinals 2, Genwaku, in which Ash will take on Cynthia, the matronly waifu and powerhouse champion of Sinnoh. The word Genwaku can be loosely translated to dazzle, bewitch, or illusion, but to add some clarity to its usage, it typically pops up in situations where one is deceived by something that is not there, for instance by a trick, a magician's sleight of hand, or even by someone's appearance or seductive words. Or when someone is left bewildered by another's abilities, or even when someone is literally bewitched by sorcery. We don't currently have the context necessary to make a call on how exactly we should interpret the title, but the idea of illusions and trickery nudges me to believe that ghost-type Pokemon will probably be involved in the battle, because they are quite cheeky. And based on recent magazine information, Ash vs Cynthia will be a full 6v6 battle, meaning that Ash will be bringing the full squad to the match, including Gengar, but given the potential bewitchment and hexing connotations of the episode's title, I strongly suspect that it implies Cynthia will be fielding Spiritomb against Ash. And I think that Cynthia starting with Spiritomb is even more likely given that Spiritomb is the Pokemon she leads with in the Diamond and Pearl video games, making it likely that she would run it in the opening segment of her anime battle with Ash as well. Of course, of the 6 Pokemon under Cynthia's possession in the anime thus far, Spiritomb is nowhere to be seen, but as an iconic pillar of her team from the video games, I think it will be quite the touch. Regardless, assuming that the Pokemon Journey's core storyline holds true, Ash will emerge victorious and proceed to the finals wherein he will square off against the reigning monarch, Leon. Following episode 1, 2, 3, the remainder of September and beyond is likely to pan out in one of 3 ways, assuming there are no additional broadcasting breaks. 1, with a Go recap episode followed by a conclusive capstone episode for his story arc, much like Chloe, then a 2 to 3-parter Ash vs Leon finale. 2, the reverse, or 3, with the Ash vs Cynthia bout turning out to be a 2-episode fling, lucky Ash, which one would hope for given that it is a 6v6 and the significance of this particular battle in the context of the Pokemon anime in its entirety. The title of episode 122 doesn't sound particularly conclusive, so it certainly is possible, and this would shift all the other content 1 episode forward to mid-September. But we shall see. Regardless of how exactly this segment progresses, the series could then conclude with a villain arc similar to X, Y, and Z, or a handful of fun adventure episodes tying up loose ends before the new Scarlet and Violet anime kicks off in November. Personally, I think that scenario number 2 with an extended Go segment to cap off the series is quite likely, but we are beginning to veer away from guesstimates into the territory of who the heck knows, so I will leave the speculation to you. Any hoot hoots, how do you feel about the final stretch of Pokemon Journeys, and how do you think everything will wrap up?